This is another sign of the times, an analysis, and a commentary. It's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. U.S. stocks fall. It's been a turbulent ride for stock market investors this year, and it's getting worse. A broad downturn in U.S. stocks on another volatile day for crude oil prices knocked the Standard & Poor's 500 index down 10% from its November peak. That's known as a correction on Wall Street, and it's the second time in less than 5 months for the S&P 500 index, which is regarded as a bellwether for the stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also tumbled, losing more than 300 points before closing within 25 points of its own correction level. The rocky start to the year reflects mounting worries on Wall Street about a slowdown in the global economy, plunging oil prices, and the implications for U.S. companies. It also deepens the pain for many investors after a flat year of returns for the stock market last year. The S&P 500 index is now down 7.5% this year, while the Dow is off 7.3%. The Nasdaq is deeper in the red, down 9.6%. The Russell 2000, which is comprised of small company stocks, is now down 20% from its June peak. That big a plunge is defined as a bear market. At the very core of this, there's a bull-bear debate, said Quincy Crosby, market strategist at Prudential Financial, whether or not we're headed into a recession. Or so they say. That's the debate. Are we gaining the momentum in the economy to justify the valuation in the market? Energy and consumer stocks bore the brunt of the selling on Wednesday. The price of U.S. crude oil closed slightly higher, but remains near $30 a barrel, a level that investors fear could force many oil and gas companies to go bankrupt. Brent crude, the international standard, fell 2%. Again, it's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 13. For from the least of them even unto the greatest of them, every one is given to covetousness, and from the prophet even unto the priest, every one deals falsely. 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people, slightly, saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace.
After a brief rebound Thursday, already battered U.S. stocks took yet another beating Friday, joining in a global sell-off. All 10 S&P sectors were down at midday, led by the already badly bruised energy sector. The Dow plunging as much as 500 points, moving well below 1,600, while the yield on 10-year treasuries traded below 2%. Swimming in the red, big names ranging from Disney to Caterpillar, Microsoft, and Apple. The selling pressure has been relentless since the start of the year due to fears of weakness in China, the world's number 2 economy, and its sinking currency. And oil prices in virtual freefall. Sam Stovall, S&P Capital IQ.
Well, right now I would characterize the market as vulnerable to a bear market because of uncertainty surrounding the possibility that the U.S. and the rest of the world will be falling once again into recession.
Crude crossed a psychologically key level below $30 a barrel, marking a 20% loss so far in 2016. The commodity getting squeezed as investors worry that Iran, with sanctions lifted, will add to global oversupply. And at the same time, concerns about demand falling, with China's health growing more uncertain. The mass exodus from stocks Friday was ignited after China's Shanghai Composite Index fell into a bear market.
As stock prices started tumbling in the first trading days of the year, many Wall Street professionals were tempted to describe the declines as a sort of adjustment that the market has gone through in recent years before moving higher. but that optimism has evaporated this week. As the selling has intensified, concerns are growing, but the markets are signaling that the United States economy, despite its recent bright spots, may be on the verge of a slowdown or perhaps a recession. The fear is that economic problems in China have set off negative reactions around the world that could ultimately weigh on American households and corporations. The Standard & Poor's 500 Stock Index, the main benchmark for the United States market, closed down more than 2% on Friday. The index is now down 8% for 2016 and 12% below its all-time high reached last year. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was off 2.4%, closing below the 16,000 level. Tech stocks in particular were down, with the Nasdaq falling more than 2.7%. The global sell-off in stocks started in China on Friday, with the main Shanghai index dropping 3.6%. The index has fallen more than 20% from its December high, a threshold that analysts generally regard as a bear market. Stocks in London ended down 1.93%. Stocks in Frankfurt closed down 2.54%. Investors are showing signs that they are again seeking out safe haven investments like government bonds. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note, which falls as its price rises, declined to 2.03% after earlier falling below 2% for the first time since October. Oil prices settled below $30 a barrel on concerns about China and a potential flood of new oil from Iran. Technically, we are in a bear market, said the chief executive of BlackRock, the world's largest money management company. There is just a broad reassessment of risk right now. A bear market occurs when stocks are down more than 20% from a high. The Russell 2000, a broad measure of the market, is actually down 23% from its peak. The debate now is whether the steep drops in the markets are an indication that the United States economy is falling into a trough that the country's economic policymakers have not anticipated. And the turbulence in the markets is causing the pessimism to grow. Again, Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace. 15. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? No, they were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be cast down, saith the Lord God Almighty. 16. Thus saith the Lord, Stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, We will not walk therein. 17. Also I set watchmen over you, saying, Listen to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, We will not hear. 18. Therefore hear, ye nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them. 19. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not listened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it. Yes, remember, everything comes from God, and it is time for prophecy to be fulfilled. And all these are more signs.